Nope.
Hello, dear listener, and thank you for joining me in this week's video. For those of us who celebrated Christmas growing up, the annual arrival of Santa Claus was a big deal. The big old jolly man himself would come through town, dropping off presents to all the good boys and girls. But in Europe, not all of the Christmas characters are so pleasant. Some of them are downright terrifying. The following are 6 of those creepy Christmas ghouls. Oh, and sorry in advance for the almost guaranteed mispronunciations of some of these names. With that said, let's begin. Number 1. Pierre Fouettard. In France, good old Saint Nicholas has a trusty sidekick, known as Le Père Fouettard. That name literally translates to Father Whipper. As you may have guessed, Fouettard roams around northern France and parts of Belgium, whip at the ready, on the hunt for all the misbehaved children. The legend of Pierre Fouettard dates back to at least the 12th century. The story revolves around an innkeeper, or in some versions, a butcher, who murdered and robbed 3 boys on their way to a religious order. After killing them and stealing their money, the innkeeper and his wife chopped up the boys and added their still bleeding bits to a stew in order to hide the evidence of the crime. When St. Nicholas figures out what happened, he resurrects the boys. The innkeeper, whose name was Fouettard, repents for his sins. As atonement, he accompanies St. Nicholas around on his journey each year on December 6th. Fouettard is usually portrayed as fairly dark and sinister in appearance, which is no surprise. Unkempt and ragged, with a long beard, he carries a whip or a switch to flog the naughty kids. Number 2. Also in France lives the legend of Hanstrop. Trop is essentially the Christmas boogeyman that parents invoke to encourage good behavior amongst their offspring. This legend originates in the 15th century. Hanstrop was known to be a rich and greedy man who was said to also worship Satan. When the Catholic Church learned of this, they excommunicated him. This led to his neighbors ostracizing the man they had once feared. Eventually, his wealth was confiscated, and Trap fled to the forest with nothing to his name. Living alone on a mountain, and angry at the loss of his fortune, he descended into madness. One day, he attacks a young boy who wandered near his shack. He chops up the boy and roasts him over a fire, but before he could take a bite, he is struck with a bolt of lightning, which kills him instantly. Since that time, he serves as a warning to bad kids. Be good and listen to your parents, or the spirit of Hanstrop will find you and eat you. Number 3. Yolo Catrin. If you're furiously typing a comment on how I mispronounced that name, I just want to say in advance again, I'm sorry. Yolo Catrin is Iceland's frightening Christmas cat. Yeah, you heard that right, a Christmas cat. According to legend, Yolo Catrin eats the naughty kids that don't finish their chores. Those of you who are lazy will become cat food once the Yolo Catrin peers through your window. The good kids, they get new clothes as a reward for their hard work. Seems like a lose-lose to me. Regardless, if you work hard, you'll get clothes as a gift, keeping you safe from the Yolo Catrin. This approach appears to work, and the people of Iceland put in a ton of overtime. And according to recent history, it's working because no one's been eaten by a giant evil Christmas cat. At least, none that they know about. Number 4. Belsnickel. Any die-hard fan of the US version of The Office is most likely familiar with Belsnickel. Yet another companion of St. Nicholas, Belsnickel is known to be not so nice of a guy. Belsnickel shows up in the weeks leading up to Christmas to check out who's been naughty and nice, and then reports the information back to Santa Claus, depending on which version you're reading. When he does show up, he's wearing dirty, ragged clothes made out of skin and pelts, carrying a switch to beat the misbehaving children, and also carries some sweets and presents with him in order to give to the good kids. The tale of Belsnickel originated in Germany's Rhineland area, but German settlers brought him to North America in the early 18th century. Belsnickel is still a part of a lot of popular traditions in parts of New York, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, home of Scranton and Dunder Mifflin. Duh. Number 5. Krampus. This monster has made quite a name for himself in the past few years. He even got his own motion picture in 2015. The word Krampus means claw and is featured in Christmas parties by certain alpine villages. The Krampus is known to have long, sharp claws, sheepskin clothing, horns, and a switch that he uses to swat misbehaved children and unsuspecting young ladies. The Krampus's job is to punish those who have been naughty, while his counterpart, Santa Claus, rewards those who were nice. Anthropologists agree that the legend of the Krampus mostly derives from some sort of ancient horned god from the Alpine region of Europe, likely Austria, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Slovenia, or Germany. It's assumed that this entity was assimilated into the popular imagery associated with the devil of Christianity. During the 15th and 16th centuries, masked devils began appearing in church plays during traditional winter celebrations. These cheeky events eventually became part of the pre-Christmas fun that takes place every year. Number 6. Frau Perchta. This one gets pretty dark. Eastern European children are likely familiar with the legend of Frau Perchta. Well-behaved children have nothing to fear. On the night of the Feast of the Epiphany, Perchta works her way into their home and leaves them a silver coin in their shoe. Good deal, right? Right. But for those kids who weren't so cooperative, things got a little more painful. Frau Perchta is known to slice open their stomachs, remove their internal organs, and replace them with pebbles and straw. Ouch. The world-renowned German writer Jacob Grimm associated this entity with the goddess Halda or Hulda, who is believed to have evolved into Frau Holly. Perchta appears in different ways, but is usually portrayed as either a young beautiful woman dressed in snowy white, or as an old withered hag. Some legends claim she has one foot that is significantly larger than the other, and Grimm believed this was a symbol of her being a shapeshifter. Perchta is often viewed as the female counterpart of Krampus. During the same festivals that feature Krampus, people would often wear masks of Perchta and dance around the fire to drive away the scary winter spirits. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, Be sure to smack that like button down below. And if you don't, damn it, oh man, I will send the Krampus, I will send that evil cat, Frau Perchta, I will send all 6 of these guys to your house tonight. You know the spiel, everybody. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, do it as a personal Christmas gift to me. But speaking of which, there will be a Christmas video next week on Christmas Day. I'm still trying to find one that could span over 2 days to have one on Christmas Eve, but I don't want to make any promises. It's kind of skim pickings out there right now, so I'd rather make one good video on Christmas Day. So, with that said, everybody, remember to stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.